Hey guys, since I've been consuming so much media this year, I figured might as well do a rankings video. So in this video, I'll be giving my film rankings for the year. Before I continue, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content and opinions on books, films, and TV shows from me. So not all films I'll be ranking were released in 2021. Some are pretty old, like 1990s old. But I did watch them for the very first time this year, mostly for my film classes. So let's get to it. At number 10, Paul Thomas Anderson's Inherent Vice. I had to watch this film for my film authorship class since we focused on PTA during the second part of the term. So this film was pretty hard to watch the first time around since the plot is very loose, but it was a very enjoyable noir film, which pays homage to films like The Big Lebowski and The Long Goodbye. Joaquin Phoenix plays a hippie private detective in this film, so if you're into the 60s and 70s aesthetic, I think you'll like the visual aspects of the film. At number 9, the Coen brothers' Hail Caesar. Like Inherent Vice, I had to watch this film for film authorship as well, and we focused on the Coen brothers during the first part of the term. I really enjoyed this film because of all the references to Hollywood history and because it was a musical. Josh Brolin plays the protagonist, Eddie Mannix, who was a fixer for major studios. It's a lot more lighthearted than the Coens' other films, and it's a very easy watch too. At number 8, Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights. I didn't expect to like this film at all, but I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. It follows an ensemble cast in the porn industry in the 70s and 80s. The film did feel pretty long, but the soundtrack was a total banger, and it had some hints of found family, which, as everyone knows, I love. At number 7, the Coen brothers' The Big Lebowski. So just like Hail Caesar, this is more on the comedic side, but also like Inherent Vice, the plot is pretty loose. Though I'll argue that the plot in Lebowski was more tight than Inherent Vice. It's funny and the dream sequences felt like an acid trip. This film had a mishmash of different character archetypes from different genres and time periods. Like, the film was set in the 90s, but it has its protagonist, the dude, as a pacifist hippie from the 60s, and there's nihilist Germans. Like, it's a weird film, but it's entertaining as hell. At number 6, Josie and the Pussycats. This was the last film I watched for my cult cinema class, and it is infinitely better than whatever is going on at Riverdale right now. This movie literally oozes 2000s aesthetic, vibes, and music. I thought that it was a very funny and entertaining movie, and it got me nostalgic for the early 2000s live action films I used to watch as a kid. At number 5, Free Guy. This might be a controversial choice since, well, the film didn't really have much of a plot per se, but it did get somewhat philosophical, but like only a tad. It's filled with celebrity cameos, and it was just an entertaining and funny film. Also, this film reminded me of my crush on Joe Keery, especially with the glasses and the nerd aesthetic. And this film was also the first film I've seen in theaters since 2019, so like, that's kind of special to me. At number 4, Celine Sciamma's Portrait of a Lady on Fire. So I had to watch this film for my film arts and culture class during the 2021 winter semester. And oh man, so I went in watching this film kind of blind. My friend Mackenzie just told me that there was an Orpheus and Eurydice reference, and me being the sucker for Greek mythology, I was excited. She also did tell me the very basic plot, like that it was about a painter who had to paint a woman before she got married. So I didn't know that it was a gay love story, so she didn't tell me that, and I was in my feels with this film by the end. Like, not only did this film pass the Bechdel, I don't know how to pronounce it, that test, because there was like 0 men in it, but it was also like such a good film to analyze when it comes to the male gaze, or in this case, the female gaze, and I highly recommend watching it. At number 3, Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho. I've already done a video on this film, so I'll keep this part pretty brief. This was one of my most anticipated films of the year since the trailer came out because it looked so good. The colors, the editing, the acting, the soundtrack, like I just absolutely loved it. Anya Taylor-Joy and Thomasin McKenzie were so talented that I just couldn't stop gushing about their acting. At number 2, Psych 3, This Is Gus. Come on, son. You knew that this was gonna be near the top or at the very top of the list if you knew me. Again, like with Last Night in Soho, I've already done a full video on this, so we're gonna keep it brief. It's hilarious, like full on, my stomach is hurting from laughing so much hilarious. That being said, you should definitely watch the show and the previous 2 films to be able to understand and appreciate the references that are featured in this film. I will always recommend Psych because it's my comfort franchise. Finally, at number 1, Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm not gonna lie, I fully thought that No Way Home would be like at number 2 or 3, but this film made me feel things and it lived up to the hype. Like, it made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me scream. The acting was superb, especially Willem Dafoe, Alfred Molina, and Tom Holland. Like, it just blew me away. It's been a few weeks since I've watched the film, and I still need to recover. I'm not done recovering from this film yet. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 films of 2021. I just figured it'd be nice to do a little rankings video since I've got a lot of time during this Christmas break. That, and if you're looking for any film recommendations, feel free to check out any of the films I've listed here and let me know what you think. And that's a wrap on my film rankings of 2021. The book rankings will be up tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, enjoy the holidays, and please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe.